Hey y'all, Pat here. Welcome back to another edition of World Cultures, Fun and Games and Around the World, right? I want to go over with you a little bit about what we're going to be talking today. Today we have the continents and the oceans. I'm not going to read everything that's on these slides. There's a lot of information. You do need to go through the slides, so, and please read them. You do have an assignment with your attendance assignment today, which is based on the information that you read. Every single day, there will be an attendance assignment. You need to do that attendance assignment after you read the slides, because the attendance assignment will always have something to do with what you've read. You need to complete that attendance assignment by midnight, 11:59. It has to be turned in, otherwise I will count you absent. Now, you can still do the assignment to get the points, but that will not change if you've been counted absent. That has to be done before 11:59 each day, because we need to make sure that you're doing the work each day. It's a little different when you're working on the online class thing. Another thing that I wanted to mention to you, please make sure that if you have questions, ask me. I am available. This class this term is third period from 12 until 1:15. So I am available for you during that time if you have any questions. In addition, I am also at school until 4:00 each day. Monday and Wednesday, I have class on Monday and Wednesday night. And so you can come in, if you have a class that night, you can come in and talk to me before class or something, make an appointment with me and come in. If you need me to stay late on a Tuesday, Thursday, I can arrange that too. I'm here to help you. So just let me know what you need, okay? I can't help you with a problem if I don't know that you have one. So let's very quickly go through this. We have 7 continents: Asia, Africa, Antarctica, Australia, Europe, North America, and South America. Just another map of them. You see where Missouri is located there in North America. There are 5 oceans: the Atlantic, Arctic, Indian, Pacific, and the Southern Ocean, or the Antarctic Ocean. You'll see it both ways on different maps. Here you see just a map of where those oceans are located. Notice how they all touch. You know, the planet is 75% water, right? 70% water. It all touches each other. So where do they make the distinctions? That's a good question. That's a Joe question. Ask them. I'm not really sure. I think it has to do with the currents and the way that the currents flow, but I'll be honest with you, I'm not 100% sure. The first continent we'll look at here is Africa. Africa is the second largest continent. Now, many times people think that Africa is a country. It is not. Africa is a continent. There are 54 countries on the continent of Africa. You do have South Africa and the Central African Republic. However, none of the rest of the countries are named Africa. Okay? 54 different countries. It is the highest in elevation. The whole continent is basically at least a mile above sea level, except for the little areas there by the oceans and the Mediterranean Sea. The next one is Antarctica, which is the 5th largest continent. Sometimes people get confused about the Arctic and the Antarctic. The Arctic, or the North Pole, there's no land there. It's just an ice ocean. Okay, it's ice covered most of the year, although definitely not all of the year, and they're losing more and more ice every year. Antarctica, though, has actual land to it. It is a landmass. It's a continent. In addition, something that you may not know, Antarctica is actually a desert. We never think of it as a desert because it's covered in ice, right? But it receives less than 10 inches of rain per year, precipitation per year. So that makes it technically a desert. Just like technically Truman Lake is a swamp. At the dam, it's 700 and something feet, but the average depth is 5 feet. That makes it a swamp. So I have been known to call it Truman Swamp instead of Truman Lake. Asia is the largest continent. There are only 48 countries in Asia. Now, you would think that it would have more than that, since Africa is smaller and has more. But remember that Russia is part of Asia. Now, Russia is a little different in that it has part of its landmass in Europe and part of its landmass in Russia. There is a line of mountains through here called the Urals, and the Urals is the dividing point between Europe and Asia. Everything east of the Urals is Asia. Everything west of the Urals is Europe. Russia is the largest country. It is so large that you could fit 3 of the United States, the continental United States, within the landmass of Russia. China is the same size as the US. India is not as big, although it has a whole lot more people. India is just passing China as the most populous country on the planet. So 48 countries here, a lot of natural resources. The next one is Oceania and Australia. It is the smallest landmass area. Mostly islands. You have Australia, which is part of this, but some of these islands might have thousands of different islands in the chain. Indonesia, I think, has something like 10, 20,000 islands. Micronesia has 1,000 or more islands. Vanuatu has several hundred. Tonga has a few hundred. Kiribati as well. Then you have some that don't. You have Guam. That's just the one island, I believe. Hawaii has multiple islands. But all of these are part of Australia and Oceania. 14 countries. Next one's Europe. It is the 6th largest. And it holds an enormous amount of power. There is an excellent documentary that if you're interested in it, let me know. I think I have it in my Google Drive and I can share it with you. But it's called Guns, Germs, and Steel. There was a scientist a few years ago who was asked some questions by some people in Papua New Guinea. And he was trying to figure out why it was that Papua New Guinea, who civilization has been around since the beginning of humans, how it is that they never were able to take over anything. Why didn't they create empires? Why didn't they do the same things that happened in Europe? And over time, as he looked at different civilizations around the world, he came to the determination that it was those 3 things, guns, germs, and steel, that made it possible for Europe to control history and to control the world. Fascinating documentary series. It's divided into 3 parts. The first part is guns, the second part germs, the third part steel. But let me know if you're interested in it, and I'll share it with you through Classroom. North America, we are the 3rd largest continent. Now notice here that Central America is part of North America. For some reason, people don't ever want to include it, but we're all on the same continent. Okay? Honduras, Guatemala, Costa Rica, Panama, Cuba, Jamaica, the Bahamas, the Dominican Republic, Haiti, all of those different islands in the Caribbean, all of those countries in Central and Central America, those are all part of North America. 23 different countries. Then we have South America. 7 million square miles is the 4th largest continent. It has 14 different nations. They are relatively large compared to some of the others, although some are rather small. But Brazil is the same size as the United States. So we kind of go Brazil, China, and the United States are very, very similar in landmass and as size area. And we'll talk more about that as we get into each section. Our oceans, you have the Arctic Ocean, which is at the North Pole. And as I mentioned, this is mainly sea ice. Okay? It is not water all year round, but you see that it borders everything up north. Then we have the Atlantic, which divides North and South America from Europe and Africa. The Indian Ocean connects Asia, Africa, and Australia. The Pacific Ocean is the largest ocean in the world. It is also the deepest ocean in the world and contains the deepest point on the planet that's not inside the crust, and that's the Marianas Trench. The Southern Ocean or the Arctic Ocean goes all the way around, Antarctic Ocean goes all the way around Antarctica. Here in the map, you see World Heritage Sites. As we go through the term, you are going to be doing some looking around at World Heritage Sites and answering questions based on them. You'll be able to pick which World Heritage Sites that you decide to look at. There'll be a group of several different ones on North America and some in Central America and South America, Africa, Australia, Asia, and the vast majority, as you can see there, are in Europe and the Middle East. Again, guns, germs, and steel. Those are the areas that control the world. So these sites are important in terms of historical information, but they're also areas that the cultural value, their geography, their political and historical values all tie in together. And these are places that people have decided we don't want destroyed. Okay? Some of them are physical places, like the Taj Mahal. Some of them are land areas, like some of the swamp areas in Florida. There's a wildlife marshland, wetlands preserve in China that's a World Heritage Site. But we're going to be looking at those. After this week, once we get out of just the basic generalities and we start looking into each of the continents, each week you're going to be doing a slideshow presentation each day, like we've got here, about either the geography of the area, politics of the area, culture of the area, and then the final day you'll be doing World Heritage and research stuff. It's not difficult, it's just going to be time consuming. You're expected to spend approximately 75 minutes per class period because that's what you would be spending in class. Are you going to only spend that? No, of course not. But, some days you might, depending upon what you're doing on the Thursday World Heritage Sites. Okay? I hope that helps you out with some of that. Now, if we would, let's look really quickly at today's assignment. Okay, so in Classroom, I have for you today's slide. You'll have the video posted. It's not up there yet. And today's attendance form, which again, this says rank the continents in terms of importance. This is your opinion. Okay, there's no right or wrong answer here. It's your opinion. And then I want to know why you ranked the continent most important that you did, and the one you ranked least important, why you ranked that least important. Okay, pretty simple, right? It's all opinion. Give me your opinion. The second thing is this drag and drop map the continents. There is a directions sheet here, but it's very easy. You're just going to reach over here, grab it, take it to where it goes. Do they have to be exact in the boxes? No, of course not. If you've messed up, just come up here and do your undo button. Okay, and it'll reset it. Once you get it done, it'll save automatically because it's Google. This, remember that it is set up as an assignment for you, so it's going to stay in there for me, with no problem. But if you do have any problems, please let me know. Okay? If something disappears, then just make a text box and type it in there. You'll be okay. But there's one of the continents and there's one of the oceans. Today's simple. But later on, you'll be doing ones of the different continents and labeling countries and cities. I'm not going to ask you to do 54 countries in Africa. There'll be a limit. You can pick which 10 you want to do. And the same with the cities. I'll let you pick 10. I'm not going to have you be doing everything. That's just too much work. But you'll be doing one of those per week per continent. Again, if you have any questions, please let me know. I am here to help you. Otherwise, I will talk to y'all later.